So if I had to completely start over with day trading, my memory got wiped, I had to relearn everything, this is exactly what I would do to become a profitable trader. So this is something I really wish I saw when I first started trading, because some of the stuff I'm going to share with you is so dang important, but almost no one talks about it in this industry. So that being said, there's 5 things I would do to completely start over and learn from scratch. So let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, so the very first thing I would do if I had to start over with day trading completely is, this is so important, I would master the basics, okay? You see a lot of, titles and YouTube videos, advanced trading strategies. But I think the most important thing you can do, especially as a beginner and even as a good trader, is to really master and understand the basics like the back of your hand. Because when you're first starting as a beginner, it's almost like learning a new language. And when you learn a new language, you want to master the most basic words, the most common words, right? If someone's learning English for the first time, they're not going to go and learn all these complicated words that no one uses. It's the same thing when trading. When you're first starting, you want to master the basics. This is stuff like support and resistance, right? Sounds so simple, but this is one of the keys to being a successful trader, is knowing how support and resistance works, knowing why it works, knowing how to actually find support levels, how to find resistance levels, then all the other stuff, right? Whether it's candlesticks, volume, maybe it's simple patterns like double bottoms or double tops, also supply and demand. Really, all the things I just listed out is the only stuff I use in my trading. I mean, I use a few other confirmations to get into trades, but 95% of what I just listed out is the stuff you should be mastering and knowing like the back of your hand when you're first starting to learn how to day trade. Now, once I master the basics and I continue to learn and study them, pretty much every week, just set out a time for yourself. The second thing I would do is I would start paper trading, only to learn how to use your brokerage. So if you don't know how to set a stop loss, if you don't know how to put limit orders, maybe you're trading options, you want to get familiar with how contracts works. But again, this is another part of mastering the basics. The way I would do this is I would literally just paper trade, get familiar with your brokerage so you know how to buy, sell, set stop losses, set limit orders, all that good stuff. Now, the third thing I would do, this is the most important thing. This took me over a year to learn, and ultimately this is what has made me a profitable trader. And this is going to be having 1 to 2 setups in the market that give you an edge. Now, obviously this can be a little bit hard as a beginner because you don't know what setups are working. So this is where I'd recommend going through some kind of program, education, or you can learn for free on YouTube videos. Just making sure if you are only learning from YouTube, you're not getting too overwhelmed with too many setups, too many strategies. Again, when you're first starting out, you just want to focus on 1 to 2 of these that really give you an edge in the market, meaning 60% of the time they end up working out, 70% of the time they end up working out, and even 50% of the time they end up working out, but also keeping in mind that you want at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio when you are taking these setups, which some setups don't always offer that. So the setups I take personally, I planned them out so they always give me that 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which means even if I only have a 50% win rate with these setups, I'm still gonna end up being a profitable trader. Once you identify those 1 to 2 setups that give you an edge in the market and you understand them, right? And if you don't know exactly what a setup even means, the way I see a setup is a key level. So let's say a support level combined with a few confirmations, right? So this could be, a demand zone, so a key level with a double bottom pattern, which is one confirmation, and maybe some 5-minute reversal candles, which is another confirmation, right? That could be an example of a setup. It's a key level combined with 1, 2, or even 3 confirmations. Put all those together and you have one of your setups. Now, the fourth thing I would do once you understand those setups is I would only trade when I see one of those setups. Like I said, when I first started trading, I was always trying to predict where the price would actually go, if it was gonna go up, if it was gonna go down. But what truly made me a profitable trader was only trading when I see the setups, right? I'm not trying to predict where the price is gonna go. Obviously, there is some form of prediction in there, but I'm mainly looking at it, kind of have the mindset more of, okay, I see my setup, I'm gonna take the trade. I see my setup, I'm gonna take the trade. Some days I won't see my setups, right? Some days it'll take 2 hours for me to see one of my setups. That's the whole game of trading. That's why you see, a lot of the most successful traders, they won't trade on certain days. They won't trade on certain hours because they didn't see their setup in place, which means they have no edge in the market and they're not going to take a trade. So once you identify your setups and you understand that you should only be trading and taking trades when you see your setups, and you're actively taking your setups, let's say for the next month or so, right? Kind of seeing, your win rate on them, how well you're able to execute on them. The fifth and final thing I would do to actually scale my income as a trader, and instead of trading with, 1 or 2 contracts or a few $100, $1,000, right? If you actually want to scale to the point where you're making $500, $1,000, $2,000 per day with trading, you need to earn your ability to trade with more size or more contracts. So for example, let's say you get hired at a new company, let's say Google, right? If you get hired at Google, a big corporation, they're not going to put you at the top right away, right? They're going to start you as an intern, and then you're going to go to a base level job with a base salary. Then eventually they might give you some stock options in the company. And then, maybe one day they'll put you on the board and, so you have to earn your ability to grow your income. And it's the same thing with trading. A lot of people kind of get mixed up like, oh, I'm just going to scale, right? Well, a lot of times what happens is when you do that, you get more emotional and you start to get burned. So I think it's best to earn your ability to trade more contracts. And what I mean by that is trade your 1 to 2 setups for a month straight. If you're profitable for the month, reward yourself, right? Increase your position by 20%, right? So maybe add on 1 or 2 more contracts. Nothing too crazy, but it's still going to make a difference where you're going to start making more money if you're still profitable, right? So this could be, just adding on 1 or 2 contracts if you're trading futures or options, and then just keep doing that every single month you're profitable. And let's say, you do have a profitable month and then you size up 20% and then that next month you're not profitable. I would go back down to your original size, right? And then you have to restart the process. So this is why, it can take some time to actually scale up your income in trading because, you might have some green months and then a red month and then a green month. And then, okay, I had a green month again, I can size up another green month and then maybe you have a red month, right? So it's kind of that game where you're going to go kind of like a zigzag, right? Almost like a stock chart, right? You're going to make higher lows, you're going to make higher highs, but you're going to keep doing that with your portfolio till eventually, you're trading with enough money to where, you're like, okay, I'm cool. I just want to trade with this amount. I'm fine with making $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, because that's the most important thing is really becoming comfortable with the position size that you have. So to recap this video real quick, master the basics, get familiar with your brokerage by paper trading, find 1 to 2 setups that you understand and you can take in the market that give you some kind of edge. Then number 4, only trade when you see your setups. Don't try to predict the price. Simply just trade your setups. Even if that means you take no trades for the day, again, only trade your setups. And lastly, like I said, earn your ability to trade with more size, with more contracts. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, real quick before you go, if you want free access to my trading community, I basically share my levels for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ every single day in there so you can see exactly where my supply zones are, my demand zones are, my support, resistance, and I also give market updates in there as well. So if you would like access to that community, we'd love to have you in there. Like I said, it's completely free and open to the public. All you have to do is click on the first link in the description below, or just head over to this link right here. That being said, guys, as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.